All right, so list number 2 that I've created. This is for the dedicated collectors spots that we visited. These are just toy and comic book shops around the Mesa slash Phoenix region of Arizona. And not so much, but man, the stuff I found. So first off, a location called Collectors Marketplace, which is a pretty big and well organized toy shop. One of those that has a lot of like random directions you have to turn in. So it's weird. Like every time there's like corners to turn in the shop. It's a little disorienting, but like it's cool to explore shops like that. Uh, so from there, I actually found Dinotron. Uh, I have actually been in the mood to get a hard head, but I didn't want to pay the price for the Japanese mold. I totally forgot that a version with a color scheme I prefer came out during Beast Machines and their Dinobot subline. Um, yeah, unfortunately, the tail end broke off of this, so I had to buy a junker on eBay to replace the body. So when that gets in, we'll do a little bit of surgery and we'll get this Dinotron fixed up, or we'll fix up the Dinotron that comes in with all the parts on this one that are still good. One or the other, I will have a working Dinotron. So he's sets aside for now. We had another GoBot I had as a kid, Pincher. They had a few GoBots, none that were like particularly special or interesting to me. I probably could have picked better than Pincher because his arms, his shoulders are really loose, and he does have gold plastic parts, those tiny little pincers. So he's got to be he is very delicate. I had to take very good care of him. He'll sit on a shelf and never move, and just remind me of the one I had as a kid. But the cool one from there, the one that is going up on the wall, we found a Powerlinks Thrust, which is a version of the toy I never owned. I kind of looked around for the red one, never got my hands on it, because I think only in Japan did it actually come out. But this is going up on my wall of in-pack Transformers, because I'm in this mood right now to have examples of different Transformers in package, especially packaging designs I really like, and Armada I really liked. So Thrust just happened to be the first one at a reasonable price that I found, so he's the one who will be on the wall for now. If I run across one I like better, we might switch it out, which is going to be the case when we get to another store during this particular part of the list. After Collector's Marketplace, we went to a place called Toy Anxiety. Anxiety is a good word for the store because it's somewhat organized, but it is a very cluttered, tight store with a lot of stuff. It's a dense store. I actually preferred it over Collector's Marketplace. It's smaller, but the prices are more reasonable. So it did end up getting a few interesting things there. More GoBots. I found Psycho, and there's a few GoBots that are designed like this, where like just like the windshield section forms the entire head. Always wanted one, and I really like the look of Psycho, so Psycho comes with me. Very cool design. Really like him. There's a few oddballs buried in what looked like one of those like bakery cabinets, like the clear Lexan like display where you keep all your like various forms of cookies in a bakery or something. Buried somewhere in the middle, I happened to spot a Gator Megatron, one of the very first Beast Wars toys. When I visited Acme Superstore, I had the chance to get a Bat Primal. The ankles on every one of them were super loose, but I still wish I grabbed one because then I would have had the pair. And very reasonably priced considering he's complete, the spring gimmick still works, the joints are actually still fairly good. So a really nice example of the figure. And hey, I would not be much of a Floridian if I didn't spot an alligator and try to bring it home, right? That's the small stuff. Oh my god, the big stuff. So, out of nowhere, how about a Legends Octane? So, I've got my Legends Blitzwing from what I'm seeing of the new Blitzwing, I may or may not replace that. I think it may turn out that Legends Blitzwing is still a superior toy. So I wanted to replace my Octane for the longest time, because I don't think Octane's going to be on the list for new figures for quite a while. But yeah, online, these are crazy expensive. I paid $100 for this, which is about $50-$60 cheaper than it goes for online. So super happy about that price. Still not I still wish I got it new, but I will take it. I will take it. Yeah, really like this version. I still kind of want the Black Convoy, the Scourge version of this particular one, because I think it's a genius use for it. But that Octane is cool. So I really wanted that Octane as soon as I saw it. Not the coolest find though. The Toy Anxiety actually had like a bunch of like really tempting Transformer pieces, but the one I couldn't say no to. And this is one of those stores where I only intended to get one big thing, and then I end up getting two big things. But this was like a hell of a deal. Baldigus, not Ruination. Baldigus. Look at him. Look, he's beautiful. Beautiful and show accurate. Oh, yeah. Dig this one. It is missing exactly one gun. It's missing the white gun for Shuttler, I believe. Not a huge loss. Not a huge deal. Let's be honest. He's going to stay as Baldigus for the foreseeable future. But, yeah, it's super cool to have like the proper colored one. The US version of just all the gray combiner bits just made the whole thing feel dull. I just wasn't as into it. So like super cool. $70. Look what they go for online. Like granted it's incomplete, but it's not like we're dropping $80 off the price incomplete, you know. So that's gonna have a good spot on a shelf at some point. Before we get into the other places around there, we did, as I mentioned in the vacation vlog, we did travel up to Prescott, Arizona. We went to this little historical district where it's a lot of old buildings and mostly art galleries and tourist trappy places. But there is a little toy shop there, run by a really sweet old guy with some really fun stories about toy collecting, a really good attitude. Like he saw, like, as far as he was concerned, like all of everything that he had in his inventory, he enjoyed collecting and owning so much that to him it was all paid off. If it sells, if it doesn't sell, all the same to him. And really love that spirit. Really love. It was just fun to talk to, and he hadn't never talked to anyone else who had owned a toy shop. I don't own a toy shop. I run one, but he never met anyone else who was like did what he did before. So that's actually kind of fun to swap stories. From him, because he was like, here's the thing, like when you're a cool person, I will like, when the toy shop is cool, I will spend more. Like when the people are cool, I will spend more. From him, I ended up getting more than I expected to. I got a carded Wolverine in his classic 90s deco. Had one loose as a kid. Never actually had one. I don't think I was ever sealed. Fortunately, this one survived the travel through my luggage far better. So he's going up on the wall for nostalgia's sake. We also had a Mr. Freeze in really nice condition, considering that hose can rot and look really, really ugly. So again, probably going up on the wall as a little bit of nostalgia. Never had Mr. Freeze as a kid, but I did have a few of these animated series figures, and it's animated series Mr. Freeze. Like, it's literally one of the best, Batman characters there is. So nice to have it. And then one I didn't expect to find at all, a vintage Gargoyle toy, Demona specifically. Again, not a toy line I had as a kid, but Demona herself is one of the most complex characters, especially given she's a 90s Disney character. But yeah, really complex and interesting character. So like that was cool to find her. Yeah, happy about that. Because any other time I saw a Gargoyle toy, it was always Elisa. So Cool to find like a genuine one. And hey, look, another GoBot, except this time it's Rube from the Puzzler team. Yeah, see? That's a foot. This one's going to get weird later on, so keep in mind that we found this. So, that was, by the way, Lost in Sports is the name of the place, which I don't know why it's called Lost in Sports. There are sports cards, I guess, so I guess there is some sports there, but largely toys and collectibles, a few antique-y things, too. Let's see, next up, Gotham City Comics. This was pretty late in the excursion, so didn't get a whole lot here. It's a decent little collector shop and comic shop. They had a Robot Masters convoy they wouldn't sell me. They was just loose hanging behind the counter. Like, no, I like the scale. All right, fine. You can get that scale anywhere, by the way. But from that shop, I did return with a Diora Mansion. These older ones are always hard to find, so it's actually really cool to find one in person. And that's kind of just like the generic Dragon Ball Z-esque landscape. That's pretty much good for any little photo shoot you want to do. So nice to have the photo option available to me. Transformer-wise, I did walk out with a Steeljaw and a Ramhorn. I don't have any of Blaster's cassettes outside of Slam Dance, so nice to actually get a couple more of those under my belt. Don't have Ejector Rewind yet. We'll probably hunt those down at some point, because I got a reissue Blaster floating around here, but they never released cassettes, so I needed some cassettes somehow. We visited Atomic Comics, which was a kind of a legendary chain of comic book shops in Arizona for a long time, but those all kind of went the way of the dinosaurs. And what came and replaced it, they finally opened up another shop. Honestly, it's nice enough. The guy working the counter was nice enough. He recognized the Monster Hunter t-shirt I was wearing, so I got to talking a little bit about that. But the shop itself was very like upper class, wide open spaces, like kind of like designer shelving, holding like one of those like cube shelving things with everyone holding one individual toy. I don't know, not the kind of place I really like to go toy shopping, just because it feels too clean, it doesn't feel like genuine. But they did have a couple things. They had a bunch of McFarlane Dragons, which I had one as a kid, and I was hunting I found one later on in the trip, and we'll get to that here in a bit. But I was looking for that one. That's the one I had as a kid. That's Sorcerer's Dragon Clan. But this was a Komodo Dragon Clan. It's also from the same series. Love the look of it. So this is one that I saw all the time on the back of the box as a kid, but never got a hold of. So love these McFarlane Dragons. So not a bad find there. I think the favorite collector shop I went to on this trip was a place called Polar Bear's Pop Culture Shop. Matt didn't know about this one personally. It's just one we discovered. Wow. This is a really surprising place. Super dense, lots of variety, and just really surprising stuff to find. We'll get right into that. They had one bucket full of Kamen Rider finger puppets. So from that, I was desperately searching for a Gills to no avail, but we do have Shining and G4, so I have those as finger puppets now. Weird little things. My Agito collection growing exponentially during this trip. Another GoBot find, but this one far funnier than I think than the other ones. I got Spoons, the forklift, and in really nice condition too. It's actually cool. Like the forklift mode, the forks actually lift. Like it's kind of impressive engineering for what people commonly refer to as like cheap versions of Transformers. Every now and then, GoBots did something a little bit interesting. What else did I get there? Oh, right. So again, I'm looking for sealed figures from packaging styles I really liked. So I found a Classics Grimlock still on card. Now, as an example of the Classics line, I could think of no better because this mold is very uniquely Classics. You know, they didn't reuse it very much like they did Bumblebee and the Seekers. Those were the other ones they had. They didn't have Starscream or Mirage, but they had the rest of them. $30 each. I should have grabbed more is what I should have done. But I was trying to watch my budget at the time. And I really should have picked a little bit better. The bubble's coming off the top of the card a little bit, and it's not quite centered on the card, weirdly enough. But for what it is, it's going to hang on the wall and look really nice is what it's going to do. So that was a cool find. They also had a bunch of carded Cybertron deluxes, which was really surprising to see. And like that was a cool nostalgia trip, just seeing so many on the peg at once. They want a good price for them. So of course, the only one that I'm willing to take away at like the genuine prices they are worth these days was Hot Shot. As much as I make fun of Armada and Energon Hot Shot, I will never diss Cybertron Hot Shot. This is a fantastic toy. Really love this one. So on my wall right now, I have Cybertron Buzzsaw from my trip up to Orlando. That's my current Cybertron figure in package. We might switch it. We're definitely going to switch it out for Hot Shot because like that's just pure Cybertron right there. Yeah, cool to have. Again, one I would have gotten more, but those were actually going for what they're worth. So, and then the big one. So, at Frank & Sons, I mentioned one figure that I still haven't mentioned the name of because I don't want anyone to go grab it. One toy that I did not get to have. That same booth had another one I would have grabbed had I noticed it sooner. And it was and they also wouldn't have taken cash for it. And it was a boxed Shogun Megazord. My favorite Megazord from childhood. I love the design of that Megazord. And I sold it to afford a convention. And I regret it. It's one of the biggest regret sales I've ever had. However, fate has a way of rewarding patience. I now have my Shogun Megazord back. No weapons, unfortunately. So I don't know how hard those are going to be to dig up. I don't really care. I really just want the Megazord. And the Megazord is in great condition too. $75. Like, beautiful price for the shape that it's in. I always told myself if I'm going to get it again, I'm going to get the Japanese version, Muteki Shogun. So I can have the die-cast parts and the white arm. Someday. But for now, really good stand-in. I finally have my Shogun Megazord back. So, you can see how long this video is going. I apologize for that. We're not done. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.